What is social insurance? Why do you need it? How is the system in Germany structured? What are the principles governing the social insurance system in Germany? Who are the major players involved? How has the system evolved over time? What could be expected in the future if the social insurance system in Germany does not undergo any changes? Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Are Free on Money, where I share with you everything you need to know about living in Germany as it relates to your finances. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the most important topics for expatriates and immigrants in Deutschland, social insurance. We will cover the questions I raised a moment ago in this episode and look in more detail at the most important components of the social insurance system individually in future episodes. Los geht's! One of the most famous leaders of the German state, if not the most famous, is Otto von Bismarck. A lot of things in the modern German state begin with his name, amongst them the social insurance system. On 15th June in 1883, the system that will become what we know today was created. It began with the founding of health insurance for industrial workers and employees in the craft and trade businesses. The success of the system inspired many other states to implement one form or the other of a state-run social insurance system. What is this system and why is it needed? Germany is a self-described welfare state, and the status is unalterably stipulated in its constitution. Social insurance is one of the aspects of the welfare state, and it is a system that protects you from the financial consequences of various risks and challenges that you might face in life, such as getting sick, losing your job, or retiring or needing care. Almost everyone will find themselves in one or the other of these situations during their lifetime. The only question left being when, where, and how. And hence the necessity for having such protections. As to whether they should be run in whole or in part by the state, or if it should be left to the private sector, that's a different question for another day. Social insurance is funded by contributions from both employers and employees, as well as contributions from the government, which is, of course, our taxes. It is mandatory for most people who work and live in Germany, so it's essential to understand how it works and what benefits it offers, particularly to you. Currently, there are 5 pillars of the social insurance system: health insurance, pension insurance, long-term care insurance, unemployment insurance, and statutory accident insurance. Employers and employees share the contributions rates for health, pension, long-term care, and unemployment insurance equally. That is, half is paid by the employer and the other half paid by the employee. Only the statutory accident insurance contributions are fully covered by the employer. What are the principles governing the system? First, there is a principle of solidarity. Solidarity here means that everyone contributes into the system according to their ability, and everyone receives from the system according to their need. This means that people who earn more pay higher contributions, and people who face higher risks receive higher benefits. The system also redistributes resources from the young to the old, from the healthy to the sick, from the employed to the unemployed. The aim of solidarity is to ensure cohesion in a society. Now, from this principle, we get the compulsory participation feature of the German system, where every employee meeting laid out criteria must contribute. We also get the feature of paying the same contribution rate on income. The second principle is that of self-administration or self-governance. From this principle, the state sets out upfront the guiding framework and the responsibilities of the various parties involved in the system, but it is up to the decision-making bodies of each of the 5 components of the system to determine the things like the contribution rates, the benefits that contributors get from the system, the quality of service, and so on. This allows for a certain degree of choice on the part of contributors and competition among the various providers within the system. These decision-making bodies are made up of representatives of the insured persons, employers, service providers, and the various social security funds. Let's now look at each of the 5 pillars into a little bit more detail, starting with health insurance. Health insurance coverage through either the statutory health insurance or private health insurance was made mandatory in Germany in April 2007. And from 2009, everyone who is registered as a resident of Germany must have such coverage. Emphasis on must. And now more than 90% of the resident population is statutorily health insured. As of January 2023, there are 96 public health insurance providers. 96. If you are an employee and your income falls below the contribution assessment basis, in German we call that Beitragsbemessungsgrundlage, you must be insured in the public health insurance system. The amount for 2023 is 5,550 euros. Those who earn above this assessment basis, civil servants and the self-employed, amongst others, can choose between the public health insurance and private health insurance system. As mentioned earlier, the basis for contribution is one's income, and as of 2023, the general contribution rate is 14.6%, up to a maximum of the first 4,987 euros and 50 cents of your monthly income. This maximum is the contribution assessment limit, in German Beitragsbemessungsgrenze, and this, together with the assessment basis, changes on a yearly basis and usually in the upward direction. On top of the general contribution rate, each insurance fund is allowed to assess an additional premium on its members, the Zusatzbeitrag, also shared equally between the employer and the employee. In 2023, this ranges between 0.8% and 1.9%, and the average is 1.6%. In the statutory health insurance, members as well as their children and spouses with little or no income are also co-insured. The basic benefits available under statutory health insurance are the exact same, regardless of which insurance provider you choose. The differences between them come in when we consider what they choose to do with the additional premiums that they charge. So when choosing an insurer, you don't just choose what your employer tells you or what friends have told you or what you've heard from family members. Spend some time to look into the various extra benefits provided by each insurer and choose the one that closely matches your personal situation, whatever that may be. Next, we look at pension insurance. Pension insurance provides you with a monthly income when you retire or when you become disabled. It also supports your survivors in case of your untimely death. Pension insurance is mandatory for most employees in Germany, except for some groups such as civil servants or freelancers and certain self-employed people. Germany operates what we call pay-as-you-go pension insurance system. In German, we call that Umlageverfahren. Those working now take care of those in pension. This means that all the contributions that you and other pension insurance contributors paid, plus the portion your employer paid on your behalf, all go into a pot. The funds in the pot are, however, not set aside or invested, but immediately paid out to those who are in pension right now or their beneficiaries. In fact, the funds in the pot that I've described are not enough, such that the government tops up this pot every month for such payments to be made. By the way, this top-up, the Bundeszuschuss, has increased from 341 million in 1950 to almost 79 billion in 2021. The contribution assessment limit, as I said, the Beitragsbemessungsgrenze for 2023 in the pension insurance system is 7,300. If you live in the old German states, that is former West Germany, otherwise it's 7,100 euros. Similar to the limit for health insurance, there is also usually increases in the limits for pension insurance on a yearly basis. The contribution rate for 2023 is 18.6% of your gross income, paid, as I mentioned earlier, equally between you and your employer, up to a maximum of this assessment limit. Since 1957, the rate has changed and has ranged between 14% and 20.3%. The Deutsche Rentenversicherung opens an account for every member and saves information concerning the period that you've worked, contributions that you've made, maternity, if any, periods unemployed, etc. in this account. This information will be the basis of calculating how much pension you are entitled to when the time comes. Simply put, the longer you work or the higher your contribution, the higher the pension you can expect. Now, the legal retirement age in Germany currently is 67 years old, but you can retire earlier or later with certain deductions or bonuses depending on when. For every month before age 67 that you choose to retire, there is a deduction of 0.3% up to a maximum of 18%. And for every month after age 67 that you choose to retire, there is also a bonus of 0.5%. From age 27, once you've contributed at least 60 months pension, you will receive the so-called Renteninformation once every year. This document contains important information about your pension, what you can expect given certain circumstances. This will then help you with your own pension planning, of course, together with, I hope, your financial advisor. Of course, one of the most important things I do with my own clients is pension planning. So feel free to book an appointment with me for us to look over and discuss your personal pension situation once you've received this Renteninformation. There are questions about the sustainability of the pension system and the amount of pensions people are receiving. Can those with 20 or 30 years to go before pension really rely on this system for their old age? Are there alternatives? Of course, we will discuss the details of this all-important issue in a fully separate episode on pension planning. Next, we move on to long-term care insurance, Pflegeversicherung. This insurance is closely related to health insurance. In fact, it is administered by the health insurance companies, and before 1995 was included in the health insurance pillar directly, but to a very limited extent. I mean, the benefits that one was able to get from long-term care insurance. Now, long-term care insurance covers the costs of care and assistance for people who are dependent on others due to physical or mental impairments. Particularly as people age, and we all will, the probability of needing outside help for normal daily activities increases significantly. Sickness and accidents can also cause even the young to be in need of care from outside providers or outside sources. It also supports their relatives and caregivers. Long-term care insurance is compulsory for everyone who has health insurance in Germany, whether statutory or private. You have to pay. The contribution assessment basis and the limits of health insurance apply to the long-term care insurance as well. The general contribution rate for long-term care insurance from July 2023, so very recently, has been changed to 3.4% of your gross income. It used to be 3.05%. This, as usual, is split equally between you and your employer. Contributors with 2 or more children pay a reduced rate, depending on the number of children, whilst those with no children at all pay 4%. The amount of benefits you receive depends on your level of dependency, which is assessed by a medical examiner. There are 5 levels of dependency, ranging from minor to severe. The benefits of long-term care insurance can either be in kind or in cash. In-kind benefits cover the cost of professional care services, such as nursing homes, daycare centers, or home care agencies. And in-cash benefits are paid directly to you or your relatives if you prefer to receive informal care at home. You can also combine both types of benefits according to your needs and preferences. However, given the relatively high level of cost associated with long-term care, the benefits of public insurance might not, in your case, be enough. Therefore, you might have to pay the difference out of pocket or rely on social assistance from the government. If you're like me and you don't want that, then the alternative will be to take additional private long-term care insurance, which would come with state subsidy if you do it right. If you would like to know more about how to implement this, please reach out for an appointment and we will be more than happy to assist you. The fourth branch of the social insurance system is unemployment insurance. Unemployment insurance provides beneficiaries with a replacement income and support services if you were to lose your job or if you're looking for a new one. The statutory insurance also funds various programs and initiatives to promote employment and reduce unemployment. And this fund is administered by the German labor agency, the Bundesagentur für Arbeit. Apart from persons like civil servants and freelancers, unemployment insurance, as with some of the others we've talked about, is mandatory for employees in Germany. The monthly contribution assessment limit here is 7,300 euros for those in the old states, West Germany, and 7,100 for those in the new states. The contribution rate for unemployment insurance is currently 2.6%, also of your gross income. The amount of benefits you could receive depends on how much and how long you have contributed into the system, as well as your family status and other contributing factors. The maximum duration of benefits is 12 months for most people, but it can be extended to 24 months for older employees. The monetary benefits of unemployment insurance are divided into two main types: unemployment benefit 1 and unemployment benefit 2. If in the last 30 months you have worked for at least 12 of those months, you will receive unemployment benefit 1, Arbeitslosengeld 1. What you receive is based on your previous net income, 60% if you don't have children, or 67% if you have children. If an unemployed person doesn't meet this requirement, then they may qualify for Arbeitslosengeld 2, unemployment benefit 2, which is based on your basic needs and covers a fixed amount that varies depending on your household size and location. This has since the beginning of this year been replaced with the so-called Bürgergeld. There are additional conditions on top of the previous employment condition for which one has to meet in order to qualify for unemployment benefits. These conditions range from being registered as unemployed and actively looking for a job to cooperating with the Bundesagentur für Arbeit. You also have to accept any reasonable job offer that matches your qualifications and skills to continue to benefit from this unemployment insurance system. The fifth and final branch of social insurance is the statutory accident insurance. There are generally three kinds of accident insurance in Germany: the statutory accident insurance, car accident insurance, and private accident insurance. What we are talking about today is the first one, the statutory accident insurance. And this covers the costs of medical treatment, rehabilitation, and compensation for people who suffer from work-related accidents or occupational diseases. It also supports their survivors in case of death. Membership is mandatory for all employees in Germany and is administered by the various professional associations and Unfallkassen of the various public sector agencies or cities or municipalities. The contribution rate for accident insurance is paid entirely by the employer and varies depending on the industry, the total amount of employees, the total amount of employee compensation, and the risk level of the various activities undertaken by employees. The amount of benefits you receive depends on the severity and the consequences of the accident or the disease, ranging from medical benefits to cash benefits to non-cash benefits like vocational training, counseling, and integration assistance. Similar to unemployment insurance, there are certain requirements one has to meet in order to qualify to claim under this accident insurance. For instance, the accident or disease has to be reported on time to your employer and the insurer as well, and proving that the accident or the disease was caused by your work or related to it. Now, interestingly, through the Unfallkassen of the public sector, kindergarten and school-going children as well as students are also covered under this insurance. One must say the entire system in Germany is, relatively speaking, very comprehensive, covering the most important risks that people are likely to be faced with in the course of time. There is always uncertainty in and about life, but such measures go a long way to limit or restrict the impact of these issues in people's lives, allowing them to make better long-term plans. I always tell people that in Germany, the system has been designed in such a way as to significantly reduce uncertainty in people's lives. The circumstances, especially demographic, prevailing at the time of the design of this system are quite different from those prevailing currently. And here lies, in my opinion, the main challenge facing the sustainability of the German social insurance system. All the various branches are in need of reform, no doubt about that, but particularly the health and pension insurance pillars. A direct consequence of this is that you have to be more intentional about making sure your coverage in these areas are adequate for your needs. And if the statutory ones are not, then you have to take steps to supplement them with private options. And I am here to help you on that journey. This is it for today's video. I hope you learned something new and useful about social insurance in Germany. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends and family. And if you have any questions or feedback, please write them in the comment section below. Others will be able to contribute. And I will also, if there are any questions, answer them within the comment section. I would love to hear from you in this regard. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to help us grow and be able to give you more videos like this one. Thank you for watching. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.